In terms of when you're looking at a fertility clinic for, say, you've gone through 6 to 12 months of, inability to have a baby and you've been trying, what are some red flags that people should look for when picking a fertility clinic?
There's nothing like a personal recommendation, because having a friend or a loved one or your doctor tell you, like your OBGYN or your primary care doctor tell you, like, hey, I have shared patients with this clinic and they have a really good reputation. Sometimes doctors are going to be a little bit less forthcoming with negative comments just because, gosh, maybe one person had a negative comment, but you could sort of say, hey, I'm looking at these clinics, would you kind of favor one over another? I think that's really helpful. I mean, online reviews are helpful, but definitely don't take every single review at face value, because it's kind of a mess. So like having your doctor, having your friend that went through fertility treatment, that can be really helpful. I think that sort of red flags, I would say maybe not red flags for a whole clinic, but if you do have a consult, a red flag is that doctor is not listening to you. You don't feel like they are listening to you, don't feel like they're answering your questions. You feel like you maybe said at the beginning of the consult, you really don't want to do IVF, and they just keep talking about it the whole time and no other alternatives. That's a red flag. If they, again, just don't answer your questions, like, hey, I'm really curious about, endocrine disruptors and how that impacts, fertility. Someone that just dismisses you or makes you feel stupid for asking a question because, of course, no matter what it is. But someone who says like, oh, you know what, that's a really interesting question. I'm looking into that myself. Or, that's how I learn. I learn from my patients every single day because there's so much information out there. I'll never say like, oh, just because I haven't heard of it means that it's not a thing. It's like, okay, let's think about this together. So finding a doctor or a clinic that's going to partner with you, I think is a really good green flag.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think in general, you should always go with your gut instinct about your doctor. So if you go in and you feel like that didn't feel good, like that's just a general feeling, right? Like that didn't feel good. That's probably not the doctor for you. And trust me, we won't be offended. Like I know I'm not for everybody, and that's okay, right? Like we do the best we can. We try to be the best doctors we can, but not everyone's going to like my approach, and that's okay, right? And so if that doctor gets mad at you for getting a second opinion, if you end up going back to them, then that's also a red flag, I would say.
Totally agree. I think second opinions are valuable, especially in something like fertility or a cancer diagnosis where there really are a lot of different approaches. Makes a ton of sense to get multiple opinions and figure out what's right for you.
Is there anything else you think people should know about infertility that we haven't covered today?
Just how common it is. It's 1 in 6 couples that are trying to conceive will suffer with infertility. Also, just how common it is for a male factor component. Up to 50% of the time, there's a male factor component of the fertility. And so please don't skip the semen analysis. Like it is so essential. If I tell people, if you had to choose one fertility test to do before you even went to see a doctor, like get a semen analysis, because it is so valuable and relatively inexpensive to a lot of things. And
so easy.
So easy. Exactly. One thing that I think is so important is that a lot of people are still coming to me trying to conceive, taking testosterone. And in men, they don't realize that can shut down sperm production. And there's a lot of primary care doctors that are prescribing testosterone because they really think that they can be helpful. It like kind of makes like logical sense. Like, oh, you need more sperm. I'm going to give you testosterone. That's going to, boost your sperm count. And it's the exact opposite. So I just would love to take the opportunity to remind people, do not take testosterone if you're a man and you are trying to have a baby.
Yes. And if you are on testosterone for real reasons, like you have hypogonadism, talk to your urologist about bridging you. We have guidelines on how to do that, on how to, add HCG and take away testosterone and do Clomid and other things that we can offer you to help, ramp up your sperm production while still augmenting your testosterone so you don't have to feel bad. Because the thing about it is when you go off testosterone, people feel pretty bad. And so until their body starts ramping up its own natural production. And so there are ways to bridge that to make it work for you. And depending on how long you've been on testosterone, it could be a pretty short process. And if you've been on it for very long, it could take longer. But ultimately, there are ways to do it. You are not doomed.
That's great. That's a really good reminder.
Yeah. So we end our podcast with a few questions we ask everyone. They don't have to be about infertility, but they can be if you'd like. So, what is something you know now that you wish you knew earlier?
I wish I knew earlier that I'm not going to be the doctor for everyone. That is really humbling. You go into medicine to truly help people, and you sort of feel like, with that goal, how could I not be the perfect doctor for everyone? I'm trying really, really hard. And it is okay if you are not a good fit. It's very humbling to be a doctor that's caring and have people say you're just not a good fit, but it's okay.
It is hard because I think, I don't know about you, but I'm a people pleaser by nature. And so it feels sad when someone doesn't like me, but I've certainly also gotten over that pretty quickly. Yeah. What's a non-negotiable, something you have to do every day?
Sleep. Sleep is one of the most important parts of my day. If I get out of sync and I'm not sleeping, the whole next day or even longer I'm just a wreck. And I really learned this in my OBGYN residency and UCSF San Francisco, because I would just be on night call and inability to sleep. And I just learned really, really young how valuable it is for me. So anything that's disrupting my sleep, I really have to think long and hard about, because it's just such a non-negotiable for me.
What is a different life hack or health hack you would share with us?
A life hack is, the sooner that you realize that you are not going to please everyone, the happier you are going to be. So you just touched on that. And I think one of the amazing things, I'm turning 50 this year. I still can't believe it, but it is so empowering to come into a stage of life where I'm like, I'm not going to please everyone. I'm not going to be able to do everything. And I'm going to make really solid choices about who I spend my time with and, how I move forward, because you start to realize we're not here forever, and you got to make choices that are right for you.
Absolutely. If you couldn't be an infertility doctor, an author, podcaster, what would you be?
I really do think I would do branding and content creation, education. I love being a doctor and I love taking care of people, but oh my gosh, I really do love educating. And I just realized that I couldn't do it. And I mean, it's so luxurious. We have an hour visit with new patients in my practice. That's amazing. But still at the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to you about nutrition. I haven't talked to you about what prenatal vitamins, I recommend. And so I'm like, hey, this is why I have a YouTube channel. This is why I've written books, because we can't cram it in. I think it's patients remember less than 10% of what actually happens in a doctor-patient visit, because it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. And so to create content that people can go back to and systematically get their questions answered, it's a gift. And I just love it.
It really is. I enjoy content creation too. So, Dr. Shahine, where can people find you?
Oh, thanks. You can find everything on my website, drlorashahine.com. That's where you can find direct links to my podcast, the Brave and Curious podcast that's on YouTube and Apple and everywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find my YouTube channel for long form educational content, and then TikTok and Instagram just for fun.
Well, thank you so much. If you like that clip with Dr. Lora Shahine, check out the full episode right here.